And we are live here on Facebook. I also put these videos on YouTube and other social media outlets. So if you're seeing me in the world of social media, I'm so thrilled that you're here. Please put your comments below. If you're here on Facebook Live, thank you for tuning in every Wednesday night, or almost every Wednesday night. After 10:30, I come live. It's supposed to be 10, but it's getting later and later and later every time. And I'm thrilled you're here. Tonight, O.J. Simpson on Twitter. Really? Let's talk about what's going on there. Howard Stern's awkward moment on a top television show. Jon Stewart. You gotta love Jon Stewart. He's livid, and rightfully so, and he makes a huge impact. Problems with the registered sex offenders list. Oh man, this is a huge problem that we have in our country, and I want to chat about it, and you're going to be surprised what could get you on the registered sex offender list, and more on movement pattern analysis and how we make decisions. My name's Janine Driver. I'm the celebrity lie detector, and we're live here on Facebook every Wednesday night. Here we go. Up first, O.J. Simpson back in the news. 71-year-old O.J. takes to Twitter, and the country is not happy about it. He has almost 700,000 followers as of yesterday, maybe even 1 million today, and celebrities are not happy about this, as you might imagine. Ron Goldman's family's not happy. People who, family members and friends of Nicole are not happy. People are not happy. Why are people following OJ? Well, there's a book out there, if you've not heard of it, called Everyone Loves a Good Train Wreck, Why We Can't Look Away. The author is Eric, E-R-I-K, Eric Wilson, W-I-L-S-O-M. What he talks about is, he says, we are drawn to doom, that it is part of human nature. And if you think about it, really take a second to think about it. I've got some statistics for you. I think that's going to rock your world. Charlie Sheen, remember Charlie Sheen lost his brain a couple years ago? And after he did this whole rigmarole where he was like he's a smart bomb, and he was just talking mumbo jumbo. I can't remember it now, but it was very interesting to watch. He did a Torpedo of Truth live tour. Who wants to go see Charlie Sheen while he's in the middle of what we think was a mental breakdown? Yet people showed up. $7 million he made from that. It is human nature to look at scary movies and the head being exploded. It's human nature. How many times have you watched the World Trade Center footage where that airplane goes in and you know the second airplane's coming and you still watch till the second one comes? Is it really honoring the people who passed away there? Why are you not turning away? I think that many of us, including me, have seen this footage at least more than one time. It's not like you saw it once and you said, I'm done. In Beverly Hills, there's a tour company that gives a tour of the Beverly Hilton Hotel. You know what happened there? Whitney Houston died there. And they talk about how this is the hotel where Whitney Houston died, and people are fascinated. That same tour company has another tour. It's a 3-hour tour called the Helter Skelter Tour. And they talk about and show you the house where Tate and the La Bianca murders took place. And people are excited to take this 3-hour tour. We are fascinated. Find out more from reading this book. I know I, for one, am going to buy it actually tonight after I hang up. Everyone Loves a Good Train Wreck and Why We Can't Look Away. I'm so excited because I want to know what's happening in the brain that makes us be pulled towards that stuff. As a matter of fact, the United Kingdom and the UK, along with some other countries, have now, when there's car accidents on a highway, they put screens around the car accident so people stop looking from the other side as they're driving by, because as we know, this leads to additional car accidents. So they put up these screens. I find that interesting. It's an amazing solution. I wonder how it's working out. Plus it keeps, as you might imagine, the traffic going. All right, so let's go a little bit further into this guy here, shall we? O.J. Simpson. All right, you may remember this little ditty. Here we go. Here is O.J. Now, this was, I remember, I don't know where you were when this happened, but following that white Bronco, I remember I was in a bar in Connecticut with my good friend, Lisa Lugenbuehl, and now Lisa Levy. And everyone was talking about OJ, and everyone's like, what does OJ even stand for? And I remember saying Oliver James, Oliver James. Now I know some of you are like, it's not what it stands for. Yeah, I know. And it spread around the whole bar. OJ stands for Oliver James. And then my friend said, how did you know that? How did you know his name's Oliver James? Like, I don't know what his name is. But you just told me it was Oliver James. I'm just proving a point. If you just do something confidently, people don't second guess you. They just say, oh, okay, and they believe you. And I proved my point. All right, here we go. Now, you may remember that OJ 25 years ago, as a matter of fact, within the same week of Nicole being murdered, Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman were murdered 25 years ago in June. In the same exact week, 25 years later, OJ comes to Twitter saying, I'm getting a little bit even. I'm going to get a little bit even here. And he then says, more importantly, I'll be able to talk about everything. And we're going to explore his body language there. My name's Janine Driver. I'm a celebrity lie detector. We are live, and we are learning and exploring and changing the way we look at the world and how we decode body language and nonverbal communication, along with words people are using, so we can influence our lives and influence decisions of others. All right. So let's dive in to OJ. Now, yes, he was not found guilty of murder. However, after the murder charges, civil court happened. Do you remember this? And OJ was sued for wrongful death. And Nicole Brown's family, and Ron Goldman's family won that lawsuit for $33.5 million. Come on. They must have had some evidence against OJ there. All right, let's watch this guy, OJ Simpson. What do you think?
People have been able to say whatever they want to say about me with no accountability. But now I get to challenge a lot of that BS and set the record straight. More importantly, I'll be able to talk about everything, especially sports, fantasy football, and even politics.
All right, first things first, you notice, of course, here, his hand is in his pocket. If you stand like this, please stop standing this way. Anytime you hide your thumbs, you are sending them potential message that you need reassurance, So be cautious of doing this. Even Madonna's brother wrote a book years ago saying anytime Madonna hid her thumb inside her fist, he knew that she needed a pep talk. She needed reassurance. So you don't want to have your hands inside your pockets. If you do have them inside your pockets, you want your thumb sticking out, and you want it, like for OJ here, his thumb should be sticking out and on top of his shirt there. And that's what we would see the kids in all these television shows where it's America's Got Talent or American Idol. You would see them do that pose with the thumb sticking out. But OJ's hand being held in his pocket, it says that he's holding something back. We don't know what. And it says that he's not overly comfortable right here, because if he was comfortable, he'd have both hands out and chatting with us. It sounds a little bit scripted too, don't you think, when you hear this, what he's saying? More importantly here is when OJ says, more importantly, I'll be able to talk about everything. Let's explore that. What body language move do you notice?
BS and set the record straight. More importantly, I'll be able to talk about everything. Bob Kardashian.
Oh, stand by. Oh, I'm getting ahead of the game there. Did you hear this?
More importantly, I'll be able.
Okay, look at this, folks. Look at this, like Mac Daddy shoulder shrug. Look at that. Boom, boom. If you're just tuning in and you're new to my channel, I'm so excited you're here. My name's Janine Driver. I'm a human lie detector. I'm the celebrity lie detector. And I want to point out a shoulder shrug sends the message of uncertainty. Look what happens. When his shoulders come up, it's protecting the neck. And this happens when people feel threatened. This is when we're uncertain about something. And it makes sense to do it like, hey, what do you want for lunch? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? Italian? I don't know. Mexican? I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. It doesn't make sense when someone says something definite, like, hey, did you take $20 from my wallet? No, I didn't take $20. No, I didn't take $20. Are you cheating on me? Nope. I'm not cheating on you. Nope. I'm not cheating on you. It's when you say something definitive, a yes or a no, and show this uncertainty shrug. This is the #1 mistell in reading body language, and I talk about it quite a bit. It pops up constantly. Let's recap. What is he saying here? He's saying more importantly, I'll be able to talk about everything. Really, not everything, right, OJ? Not everything, like the murders.
More importantly, I'll be able to talk about everything.
And I also want you to pay attention. I know this clip is a little blurry, but he leaks a little disgust here. Do you see right here? His upper lip is coming up, and this is disgust. Disgust is in the center zone right here. The nose could wrinkle, the lip could come up, or you could just have this subtle expression here with just the lip coming up. This is disgust. So he's leaking disgust when he says more importantly, he can talk about everything. Yeah, he's not talking about everything right out of the gate. So suspicious.
Everything, especially sports, fantasy football, and even politics.
All right, let's look at the next clip of OJ, and then I'm going to get off of this guy, man.
Bob Kardashian is like a brother to me. He's a great guy. He met and married Chris, and they really had a terrific time together when they were together. Unfortunately, that ended. All
right, did you hear something? If you follow me here on Celebrity Lie Detector Live on Wednesday nights, you heard the...
Kardashian is like a brother. Kardashian is like a brother. Kardashian.
This is called Tut Tutting. Who does this? This is our parents when we get in trouble, right? So when we are kids, and we said something we weren't supposed to say, what would your grandmother say, or your parents would say? What? Young man, such ugly words coming out of such a beautiful mouth. Or you went over there and took a piece of gum out of your mom's purse, so your grandmother would say, you go. This is tut tutting, and this tut tutting happens when we don't like something. So I'm going to shrink my face down a smidge here so you can see what I'm talking about. All right. So tut tutting right here. This is pulled from dictionary.com, the tut tut. This is Aunt Mary tut tutted all the goings on. Natural utterance representing the reduplicated clicking sound made by the tongue against the teeth, first recorded in English in the early 16th century. This happens all the time in meetings, in negotiations, in sales conferences. If you were a leader and you are talking to your team, or you are reprimanding someone, or you are interviewing someone, or you're trying to decide, how the project's going or who should do the project, I want you to invite you to start paying attention to the tut tut. This tut tutting. Sure, Kathy. Yeah, everything's going great with that client. It indicates there's a problem here. This person either doesn't like the question, doesn't like the topic, or there's something they're uncomfortable about. Bottom line, are you listening for the tut tut? Now that you know it's there, it's like I married my husband and has a motorcycle. I never saw so many Harleys until I married a guy that had a Harley. So I promise you, you'll start to listen to the tut tut. Let's play OJ again.
We're happy.
Oh, stand by.
Kardashian is like a brother. 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 Kardashian is. We're happy.
This guy, Anthony Weiner, do you remember him with the whole Weiner gate, right? He was tweeting pictures of his private area to young girls, and he ended up in jail. He just got out actually a month ago, and there's a recent video that came where he's all disheveled and his hair's kind of messy, and he just gets out of a halfway house. So he's now being monitored. He has a parole officer, and the guy couldn't stop himself even after it went crazy in the media. Now, this is a clip that many of you may not have seen, but it's something we play over at the Body Language Institute in our Train the Trainer class. If this is something you're interested in finding out more, just put a message below. We do a 5-day Train the Trainer class. It's intense. They're 12-hour days. You have to qualify. There's an intense interviewing process. Not everyone can get in, and it's open across the planet. So we get people from the Middle East. We get people from Eastern Europe. We get people from Europe, we get people from India, we get people from all over the place. We have a 3-day course that's coming up this weekend. That's not a Train the Trainer. We have people coming in from all over the place, including Colombia. So this video is Anthony Weiner. This is where he was outside. This is Twittergate, Weinergate. And I want you to pay attention to a couple things. Number one, can you count how many times he does the tut tut? All right, so count it up. How many times does he go? And number two, I want you to pay attention to what's called smoke screening. So smoke screening is he's going to try to get us off the topic. So Anthony Weiner is going to, he's being asked, I think I just tut-tutted. That's funny. I'll tell you why I did it in a second. That's so funny. I just tut-tutted live. He is going to do this smoke screen when asked about, did you send this to this little girl in Seattle? And he's going to say, if a man threw a pie in the back of the room, would you want me to investigate the person that threw the pie? And they're like, what? That doesn't answer the question. The question is, you said someone hacked your Twitter account. Are you going to investigate the person that hacked your Twitter account? He goes, if I was speaking at an event and someone in the back of the room threw a pie, he says the pie thing numerous times. So see how many times he says the pie thing. I'm not even going to play the whole thing for you. We don't have that kind of time. How many times does he tut-tut? Now, you may be saying, okay, Janine, you totally tut-tutted. All right, I did tut-tut. And the reason why it's so crazy that that just happened live is I wanted to Google when was this whole Weiner gate? So I would have some fun facts for you, like what was the date? How many girls were involved? When did he get arrested? What was the arrest record? How long was he in jail? Was it 2 years? Was it 1.5 years? How long was he in probation? So I wanted like 5 to 10 fun facts for you, and I just didn't have the time to do it. I forgot. I went live and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot to do it. I wanted to go live. So that's why I tut-tutted, because I'm tut-tutting myself that I didn't do what I had planned to do. So anyway, here's the story behind the tut-tut. All right, say goodbye to me, and I'm going to play some Anthony Weiner for you here.
Your hack, which is potentially a crime. So why haven't you asked the Capitol Police or any law enforcement to investigate?
Through a pie or yelled out an insult. I would not spend the next 2 hours of my speech responding to that pie or that insult. I would return to the things I want to talk about, the audience I want to talk about. And that is my intention.
All right, I'm getting some Facebook Live comments that there's no sound. So I want to make sure, is there sound now or is there still no sound? I put myself on mute, but perhaps that put my whole entire computer on mute. All right, so I'm going to play this again. I want you to count how many times the tut-tut happens, all right, where he goes like this. All right, listen to it, where the tongue goes to the top part of the teeth. Here we go.
Your hack, which is potentially a crime. So why haven't you asked the Capitol Police or any law enforcement to investigate?
Look, this was a prank that I've now been talking about for a couple of days. I'm not going to allow it to decide what I talk about for the next week or the next 2 weeks. And so I'm not going to be giving anything more about that today. I think I've been pretty responsive to you in the past.
But you're here, which we appreciate, but you're not answering the questions. Can you just say why you haven't asked law enforcement to investigate what you are alleging is a
you know, Dana, if I was giving a speech to 5,000 people, someone in the back of the room threw a pie or yelled out an insult, would I spend the next 2 hours responding to that? No, I would get back.
This is not that
I would get back.
This is not that situation.
I would get back. Well, why don't you do what? You want to do the briefing? Do you want to do the briefing, sir?
From your Twitter account,
sir,
a nude photograph was sent to a college student.
Sir,
answer the question. Was it from you,
sir? Permit me. Do you guys want me to finish my answer?
Yes. This okay. Answer. Did you send it or not?
Are we giving a speech to 45,000 people? and someone in the back threw a pie or yelled out an insult, I would not spend the next 2 hours of my speech on that pie or that insult. I would return to the things that I want to talk about, to the audience that I wanted to
All you
talk
have
to.
to do is say no.
And that is what I intend to do this
All
week.
you have to do is say no to the question.
Let me try this question. The woman who allegedly got this tweet, or it was directed to, the 21-year-old college student in Seattle, she released a statement to the New York Daily News yesterday saying that you follow her on Twitter. Is that true? Did you follow her on Twitter? And if so, how did you find her? What was the reason?
Do you know, I have, I think, said this a couple of ways, and I'll say it again. I am not going to permit myself to be distracted by this issue any longer.
All
You
have
are
to do is
free.
Say no to that question.
You are free. You're very good at.
You're not following her on Twitter. Say no to the
Why don't you let me do the answers and you do the
As
questions?
soon as you answer the question asked you, sir, we will.
I'm with you, buddy. I'm with you.
You follow an awful lot of young women on Twitter. Is there a reason that you have so many ladies that you're following?
By the way, in related news, I have in the famous hashtag Scrappy Chasing Crazy, I passed Michelle Dockman's Twitter followers. We'll give you that additional time. Unfortunately, it probably is.
Congressman, you understand what's going on here, the frustration. We appreciate you coming out and you're talking to us. You're smiling, you're cooperating, and that.
All right. Now let's look at
The
this
Capitol
again.
Police or any law enforcement to investigate.
Look,
The Capitol Police or any law enforcement to investigate.
look,
The Capitol Police or any law enforcement to investigate.
look.
The Capitol Police or any law enforcement to investigate.
Are you hearing that, Tut Tutting?
Look,
The Capitol Police or any law enforcement to investigate.
look.
Ashen, he's like a brother. Ashen, he's like a brother. Ashen, he's like a brother. Ashen, but never, and I want to stress, never in any way, shape, or form had I ever had any interest in Chris romantically, sexually, and I never got any indication that she had any interest in me. So all of these stories are just bogus, and bad, baseless.
All right, this is OJ being asked if he is the biological father of Khloe Kardashian. And when he's talking about Chris, he's talking about Kris Jenner, who used to be Kris Kardashian. And OJ was talking about his friend, he calls him Bob, Robert Kardashian, who, as you may know, has passed away. And here he's saying, listen, I didn't have any interest in her. She didn't have any interest in me. I believe him to be telling the truth here. You see him nodding his head yes at the appropriate times. Some of you may pick up on some of the eye movement and say, okay, Janine, but what's up with this eye movement? All right, I know a lot of people believe a lot about the eye movement. I would need more information. This whole entire thing is 18 seconds long. So I would need more information for me to say, yes, he's lying. So as of right now, whether he's telling the truth, I know I said I believe he's telling the truth. I believe there's nothing here that indicates a hot spot for me. I would want to ask additional questions on this. It's just not reading a hot spot for me. Not here. Other places, yes, not here. So I have a funny feeling, Khloe, this guy, he's not your dad. For more training and reading and influencing human behavior with me, Janine Driver, be sure to visit bluestreaktraining.com and take advantage of your 80% off limited offer. This is the end of this segment. How we do this here on Facebook Live is I do multiple segments and then I break them into smaller chunks over on YouTube. So if you're here on Facebook Live, keep standing